Now let's try to understand types of cloud as per the service model. So guys, generally we have a three type of service model. The first type of service model is known as a infrastructure as a security, IaaS. Second service model is known as a platform as a service, PaaS. And the third model is known as a software as a service, which is SaaS. These are the three type of service models available. Now let's try to understand these particular service model properly. What is SaaS, what is PaaS, and what is infrastructure as a service. Now, so first I take the reference from here, guys, and after that we will discuss by with one of the very good example for that. So guys, tell me one thing. To start, let's suppose, let me just draw one network diagram first. So guys, generally to start a company and you want to run couple of applications, so what you have to do, you need a hardware resources, right? So let's suppose I have around 100 users. I've just denoted two computer, but let's suppose we have 100 users here. Now I have around here 20 servers. Now these particular users computer or these servers, they have a connectivity with the switches, right? Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, right? They have a connectivity like this with all these switches. And apart from this, you also have a wireless environment. You have, let's suppose, couple of access point as well, wireless AP. Let's say you have around 20 access points across your buildings. You have one wireless LAN controller. And after that, these particular switches have a connectivity with one of the load balancer, let's suppose, or maybe one of, okay, let me just denote the load balancer as well here. And after that, we have a firewall here. And this firewall have a connectivity router R1 and router R2. And this router have a connectivity one of the internet service provider. And here we have a service provider too. Now this is the, generally these are the couple of components or couple of devices which you will see in the a typical data centers, right? Now tell me one thing. Let's suppose this data center belongs to a company called XYZ. If this data center belongs to a company called XYZ, then guys, everything what is happening with this particular data center is your responsibility, right? You have to make arrangement of all these particular devices, right? Now you have to basically maintain all the cables, all the power, means everything you have to maintain, you have to manage, you have to hire a couple of employees who can basically manage your infrastructure, everything you have to manage, right? Means all the responsibility is yours. And by end of the day, what you are getting? You are getting these 20 servers. What we are getting? We are getting, by end of the day, we are getting these 20 servers where you are running your applications and all, right? So now according to the service model, if we will try to understand the service model, which is, first try to understand in on-prem, as I have mentioned, all the networking components like your router, switches, firewalls, load balancer, cables, everything we have to manage. Storage, we have to manage. Servers, we have to manage, means we have to purchase the servers, right? All the in servers, whatever the CPUs, whatever the RAM, whatever the hard disk, everything we have to manage. Power, cables, everything. Virtualization software we need to install. We have to run the operating system like Linux and Windows. These VMs we have to spin on this virtualized environment, right? Whatever middleware softwares we need. Let's suppose we wants to run a Java application, then we have to install couple of Java applications. Let's suppose we are running couple of Python based application, then we have to install the Python related softwares and all, right? So runtime, data, application, and after that we have to run our application as well. Means all these particular responsibility we have to manage in your data centers. But if it comes to the infrastructure as a security, in infrastructure as a security, what you will get, all the networking related stuff you will get from the cloud service provider. Let's suppose from the AWS. Means whatever routers, switches, firewalls, load balancer you needed for that, everything you will get from the AWS environment. Storage is managed and maintained by the AWS. Servers is managed and maintained by the AWS. Means installation of these devices over the rack. If there is anything happening with the rack, they now their responsibility to change the things. Virtualization, because to run your operating system and all, we need a virtualization environment. Like we can use the hypervisor based virtualization, we can use the VMware ESXi based hypervisor, right? All these virtualization is also managed by the cloud providers. What are our responsibility here? See, all this infrastructure is provided to you. What you have to do, you can install the operating system. Even though, if you will see here, from the operating system, half of the things is comes under the your management and half of the things comes under the cloud management. Means what you will get, whatever, let's say you want to run the Windows, then Windows operating system you will get. This particular cloud provider will provide you the image for Windows. What you have to do, you have to select and you have to run that particular Windows. You have to run the middleware software, means Java, Python, these applications you have to run. You have to basically, if you want any runtime data or application, means these are the things which you will manage. And apart from these things, everything is managed by the AWS. That is known as infrastructure as a security. Means they will give you one server where all the networking are available. What you have to do, you can basically run the operating system. On top of this operating system, you can run the or whatever the necessary software or packages you need to run your application. That's it. This is your infrastructure as a security. Means they will give you the networking infrastructure. You have to just go and you have to run the operating system and you have to run your application. This is known as infrastructure as a security. Now the second model is known as a platform as a security. In platform as a security, what happens? All the networking, storage, servers, virtualization, even though the operating system, even though the middleware and the runtime, all these particular thing is maintained and managed by the cloud service providers. What you need to do, you have to just run your application and you have to start working on it. What you have to run the application and you have to start working on it. That's it. You don't need to take care anything. You can install your application and you can start using the things. And after that, we have a software as a service where application, data, runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, servers, storage, and networking, everything is managed by the cloud service provider. What you have to do, you have to go and you have to start using that particular service. What you have to do, you have to go and you have to start using the service. that is known. These are the three type of models available over the cloud environment. Now, let me just give you the idea about it, how these particular things works and all with the some type of examples. Okay. So guys, I will ask these particular questions with you. Let's suppose, I hope everyone from the networking background and you should have a knowledge of EVNG, right? I know most of around 99% people know what is EVNG. So guys, what is the use of EVNG generally? So guys, what is the use of EVNG generally? Write your answers at least here. And I know you know what is the use of EVNG. It's a network simulator, right? Now, let me just give you an example. What I have done, what I have done basically, what I have done, I have basically done one thing. I have basically provided you one server. This is one of the server which I have provided you. On this server, basically, I have also connected this server with the internet service provider. Means this server got the internet connection, and on this server, I have also installed the VMware. I have installed the VMware software in this server now. On the same server, I have also put the image of EVNG. EVNG image also I have put into these servers. Now, what I have given these particular things to you, and I just told you, you can start installation of EVNG and start building your labs. Now, what type of model it is? It is a software as a service, or platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service. I have provided the networking. I have provided the hypervisor, which is VMware, and I have also provided the EVNG image. Most of you are saying pass and says, and all of you are wrong, because pass and it's a infrastructure as a security. It's a IAS. Why it is a infrastructure security? What we are getting? Let's try to understand from here. What we are getting here in this particular. What I am saying, let's do one thing. Let me just take this picture here. Okay, now, if you will see this particular picture here, according to infrastructure security, what are the things are available in your infrastructure security? What are your responsibility? To install the operating system, it's your responsibility. Install all the necessary application, and the runtime and the middleware is your responsibility. And guys, what here I am providing? I am providing the network. I am providing the storage. I am providing the server, and I am also providing you the hypervisor, which is virtualization software. And also I'm providing the EVNG image. Now you have to install everything. Now you have to basically install the EVNG, means you have to install the operating system. You have to run the middleware, means you have to install all the necessary softwares. Like you have to upload all the images in your EVNG, right? You have to build your topology and all, right? And after that, you have to build and you have to practice it. So this is a infrastructure as a security. Let me just go in some different way, because I just wanted to explain you this thing properly. Let me just take some different example. Keep this particular picture in your mind. Let's take an example. Let's suppose let's suppose I have one server here. Okay. This server have a connectivity with the one of the switch. Now this switch have a connectivity with one of the firewall, and this firewall have a connectivity with the internet. Now on this particular servers, I am giving the what I am providing any user. See, in this server, let's suppose I have a 32 core of CPU, and I have around 256 GB of RAM, and I am having around 8 TB of SSD. This is the configuration of this particular server. Now, I have here, now I have around 4 users. Now what these 4 users wants to do, they want, one first user wants to run a Kali Linux to host one of the application. The second user wants to run the Windows server. Third user wants to run the Ubuntu Linux, and the fourth user, let's suppose, wants to run one of the, let's take an example of, I can say CentOS or Red Hat. Now, these are the 4 users who wants to utilize this particular server. So what I have done, because they wants to run these 4 operating systems, so on the same server, I have basically put the Kali Linux ISO file. I have put the Ubuntu Linux ISO file. I have put the CentOS Ubuntu file, CentOS ISO file, and I have also provided the Windows iOS. It's iOS file. Now what they wants to do, now these users, and I have provided the networking. So I have provided the, they can able to, these users can able to type the IP address, which is 151.7.100. So they can able to get the access of this server, and after that they can start deploying their VMs and all according to their requirement. So this, what is the model I am providing to these particular peoples in this particular scenario, guys? What type of models it is? It is a infrastructure as a security, means I have just provided the infrastructure. Now it's your responsibility to install the operating system, your responsibility to install the application, your responsibility to run the middleware softwares. And if anything is happening, let's suppose if there is any problem with your application, with your data, with your runtime, with your middleware, you are the responsible person for that. You are the person for maintaining and managing these particular tasks. If there is any problem is happening with the virtualization, with the servers, with the storage, with the networking, then cloud service provider is responsible for that. Now, what I did basically for these users, let's suppose on these particular servers, let's take an example. They wants to install one of the Java application. They wants to run this Java application, and this application, what he is doing, he is basically is for the healthcare customers. Means what these doctors and they are using this particular healthcare application. What they are using this application for providing the medicines and all. Now, what I have done this time, let's suppose now this time what I have basically installed these particular operating system as well into these servers for these users. And because they need a Java, so I have also installed the Java related application as well. I have installed the JDK, Java application, or Java JDK or Java SDK, all these particular Java environment as well on these particular VMs or these particular virtual machines. And now what I have given these four users only what they have to run their application. And if they are just only running the application, then it's a platform as a service. Okay. And in terms of software as a service, what everything we will do, we will install this application as well, all the runtime, middleware software as well, operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, networking, everything. What we will just directly provide one console to the doctors, and these doctors they will use this particular console. That's it. Now let's try to understand the same thing by using couple of examples. Guys, tell me one thing. If I take example of Gmail, let's suppose there is a one user one, he has one Gmail account and he wants to send one email to user two. Then Gmail comes under which type of service model? It is a software as a service. Means what we are doing, we are just using the Gmail console and we are just using the service. So like application like your Gmail, your Salesforce, CRM, Office 365, Google Docs, right? All these particular applications, your Google Drive, there is a hell lot of applications nowadays which are the SaaS based applications, software as a service. Let's take an example of WhatsApp. If you want to use the WhatsApp, what we are using this WhatsApp for sending the messages and all, right? What type of service is offering, what type of service we are getting from WhatsApp? It is a software as a service. We are just using that particular application. We are not responsible for the installation or for developing the code of the WhatsApp application, right? It's not our responsibility. So these are the example of software as a service where we are using a software service which is offered by that particular application. Now we have a platform as a service, and guys, this platform, this SaaS application is most of the time used by the end users. Just remember, now we have a platform as a service. In platform as a service, what we will get, basically we will just provide one platform, and on that platform we will install all the necessary softwares. And now the software developer use that particular platform to develop their softwares. That comes under the platform as a service. And the example like a Google App Engine, AWS Elastic VNStack. And after that, we have a infrastructure as a service. And infrastructure as a service is used by the IT administrators. Like we are using EC2 service. We are using the Microsoft Azure services or the Google Compute Engines. This is known as infrastructure as a security. Now let me tell you the thing, guys. See, for infrastructure security, if you are having this type of business, if you are having services like this, then what you have to do? You see the business model of AWS and Google Cloud, they are targeting the customers who is dealing with the infrastructure as a service. Okay. And the business model of Azure, they are focusing towards the software as a service user customers. Because if you know, Microsoft have lots of plug and play services like the Office 365, Google, right? They have a lots of services basically. And the business model of Azure is to target the users, to target the clients who just want the SaaS services. And the business model of AWS and GCP is based on IaaS. Okay. Now let's see the same thing from here with this example. In private cloud, what used to happen? You have to purchase a car. In infrastructure security, what? You will get a key and you can just start driving this particular car. In platform as a service, what you will get a some type of public transport which you can use to go, like trains. In trains, what we are just purchasing one ticket and we are just going from one place to another place. So these are the platform as a service. Example for platform as a service. Infrastructure infrastructure as a service. So these are the couple of companies like AWS, NetMagic, Reliance, Sifi, Tata, GCP. These are the couple of cloud service providers whose main business is towards the infrastructure as a service. Rackspace will be also there. They focused on the infrastructure as a business model. For platform as a service, we have a couple of companies like Google App Engine, Salesforce, Windows Azure, AppFog, OpenShift, and your cloud from the VMware, right? Their business model to target the customers, which is platform as a service. And software as a service, we have a couple of like Google apps. If I'll say the example of Google, right? We have a Google Sheet. We have a Google Drive. We have a Google Docs. All these are the example of software as a service. Means in Google Sheet, we just using, yeah, using the sheets to filling the information, right? We are not installing any type of application. We are not building any type of code, nothing like that, right? These services available just by a web browser. Like your go-to meeting, Oracle CRM, right? Salesforce, all these are the example of your software as a service environment. Okay. So infrastructure as a service, all the physical resources, all the hardware like laptops, desktops, cables, switches, routers, Data centers and the storage devices are the part of infrastructure. Means all these things you will get from the cloud providers. In the cloud computing, all the infrastructure is virtualized and provided to the customers as a service. This is called infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service provider provides the following service. Means they will give you the compute service. Means you can able to create the virtual machines. Computing as a service includes virtual central processing units, virtual memory for the VMs. Means they will give you the CPU, they will give you the RAM along with all the networking infrastructure. They will give you the storage, network, load balancer, all these particular things you will get. Example AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM Cloud, Rackspace, DigitalOcean, and Oracle Cloud. Guys, I have also put couple of links. Okay, I will share these notes as well. Okay, so you have to go through with these particular links. Check it out, the information. Okay, in platform as a service, as I have mentioned, platform as a service is a cloud computing platform where a third party offers necessary softwares and hardware resources. These offering enables clients to develop, run, and manage business applications without maintaining the infrastructure required for such softwares and the development processes. Okay. What are the services you will get in platform as a service model? Programming languages like Python environment you will get, Java environment you will get, right? Application framework, databases, and tools. Software as a service, SaaS is also known as on-demand software. It is a software distribution model in which services are hosted by a cloud service provider. These services are available to end users over the internet, so the end users do not need to install any software on their devices to access these services. Example AWS Elastic, Beanstalk, Windows, Azure, Force.com, Google App Engine, OpenSAP, SAP application, AWS Lambda, Azure Functions, etc. Now we have a SaaS offering, right? Where you can see Dropbox service, Google Drive, OneDrive, Outlook, Gmail, Google Apps, GoToMeetings, right? All these comes under the software as a service. So businesses services like ERP, CRM, billing, all sales, all these particular software comes under the SaaS of offering environment. Okay.